Hello and welcome back to Hold On I'm Talking Brother. My name is Joe Greenwood and you are listening to our review of UFC 293, which was headlined by Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland for the middleweight title from Sydney, Australia. And I'm, as per usual, joined by my regular co-host Tom Ballum. Tom, we live in a world where Sean Strickland is now the middleweight champion of the world. I don't know what timeline we're in now. What alternate reality are we in?
Well, welcome to the new reality, Joe. Everything's changed now. Nothing will ever be the same.
No, it really won't. And listeners, you know what? No mucking around. We're going to give it to you straight away. We're going to dive into our review of UFC 293, starting at that main event. And let's just put it simple, listeners. We were wrong. We were all hideously wrong. Like, wrong, but also kind of right in a way. Sean Strickland.
I'm looking forward to that, Joe. That's going to be a stretch trying to claim some sort of victory here.
Oh, no. There is a moderate victory in there for me, but we will get to it in our review as Sean Strickland defeats Israel Adesanya 49-46 on all three judges' scorecards to become the middleweight champion, despite everything everyone said. He managed to do it. He is the middleweight champion of the world. And Tom, I'm just going to ask you a very simple question. Can you describe Sean Strickland's performance in this fight for me?
Do I get an unlimited number of words?
Give me, if you can do it in one word, that'd be ideal. But make it as short as possible.
Okay, I would say that it was a classic Sean Strickland performance, with very similar to what we've seen from him in the past. You know, he stayed in range with Izzy. He didn't let up. He applied constant pressure. He countered everything that Izzy threw. He bit down on the mouthpiece where necessary and he marched forward. Nothing surprised me about Sean Strickland, other than his ability to find Izzy at will, which, as the rounds went on, became very apparent that it almost started to look like a mismatch, Joe.
Yeah, it was very odd watching it. The word that came into my mind was twitchy. It was a very twitchy performance from Strickland, but in design.
That's a staple.
Yeah.
The Sean Strickland
absolutely.
Fighting style.
Absolutely. And I felt like that was going to be part of his downfall until we actually started watching this fight where, I mean, we'll go into like the finer details of it in a moment, but I still just want to think about the big picture of this, which is there was like no doubt in this matchup. Do you know what I mean? In the result, like it was what we want, which was a clear, defined winner, and he didn't get screwed over. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't even like, you know, when Aljamain fought Cejudo earlier this year, and people were making arguments that Cejudo maybe won, or when Whittaker fought Adesanya last year, it's like maybe Whittaker won that. There was no bullshit about this fight. Strickland won. There was no clear way that you could make an argument for Adesanya. And I was just absolutely gobsmacked, really. I was truly gobsmacked. Yeah, and the fight looked exactly how I thought it would look.
It very much did, but with Adesanya kind of having the moments that Strickland had. You know, I expected a comprehensive, comfortable, kind of 60%, 40% victory for Adesanya, where he clearly won, 3 or 4 rounds. And I mean, we're out there on record, Joe. Our perspective is well announced. We didn't envisage or discuss this possibility. I did throw it over to you that perhaps Sean can stay there in that space, make Adesanya uncomfortable, and I think that was a big part of the result that we saw in the end. But there were a few things that we certainly didn't expect. So let's get into it now, Joe. Let's start with round 1. Because for me, the first 4 minutes or so of that round went very much as I expected the rest of the fight to go. So Adesanya's sticking and moving, working Strickland's lower body, getting away from Strickland's strikes for the most part, just doing enough to kind of outpoint him, not taking too many risks, and Strickland not really finding much of a home for his strikes.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what was the thing that got me in this? And it took my second watch of the fight to catch this, was that immediately Strickland started doing the thing that people told him not to do, which was biting on the feints. He's biting on every feint. He's biting on every feint. And as I was watching it, I'm like, well, hold on, that's what Jan Blachowicz did. And Jan Blachowicz beat Adesanya, admittedly through wrestling, which something that Strickland never did in this fight. But do you know what really actually surprised me about this fight was the amount of feints that Adesanya was biting on. Did you notice what Strickland implemented in that first round that didn't work in the second, but then started to work in rounds 3, 4, and 5 again? He kept lifting his rear leg to feint that he was going to throw a kick up the middle from his rear leg, which is something I talked about in the preview of like, maybe he'll throw something up the middle from the rear leg, right? And he just kept feinting it, and Adesanya kept conceding ground up to the fence from that feint of Strickland. So Strickland, you can say like, oh, he's twitchy and flapping his hands and whatnot, but Adesanya is just as guilty of that. And if you've got two fighters biting on each other's feints, doesn't that in a sense cancel each other out in a way, Tom?
Yes. Of course it does. I mean, the thing is, though, should you be biting on Sean Strickland leg, his leg twitching?
Well, in a way, yes, but also no. I don't know. Like, do you know what it was? It was like, there was also the other thing as well. It's just like Adesanya throughout the fight just conceded the ground up to the fence and kept pushing back up against the fence. And people were thinking like, oh, like the Paulo Costa fight, and he can angle off from either side, right? What happened on this fight was that he conceded ground much further back than he did against Costa. He was never that far back up against the fence as he was against Costa.
I'm sorry, that's Sean Strickland, Joe.
That's what I'm saying.
Relentless pressure.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think Adesanya approached the fight in a different way. I think Sean stayed in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving Strickland the credit for, was that he pushed him further back.
He was always going to.
Absolutely. And
so Adesanya's was flawed, really, in his response.
And he squeezed Adesanya into exiting to his left. Adesanya exited mostly to the left. If you watch the fight, they're mostly moving to Adesanya's left most of the fight. Adesanya at points tried to go right, but Strickland never let him go there because he sort of threw the jab out there, kept him going back the other way. So he constantly had him moving into the right hand, which is what we saw, is what you're referencing at the end of the first round, when the best strike of the fight, where Strickland threw the jab out there, pulled the hand out the way, and down comes the right hand, drops Adesanya for the first time in his career in the UFC.
Wow.
And then starts unloading on him in a way...
Yeah, it was... Yeah,
no one's ever
Strickland
done.
went after him. He went after him, Joe. He wanted him out of there. Let's just take a moment to say it. There are refs, there are fights that have been stopped for less than that.
Would you say a title fight like that? I don't think so.
Oh, I think if we went through the annals, I think there are examples of that.
Cruz Cejudo is the one Dominic Cruz is screaming into his into the void, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah. Big Keith.
Yeah, I think there have been a few moments like that. Now, I'm not up for any moment saying that it should have been stopped. I never felt like that at any point. But Strickland was pouring it on. He was, unleashing, of course, Adesanya blocking most of it. And Strickland did well to recognise, okay, this is not the moment. Back off. Pereira got caught in this exact position doing this exact procedure. That's basically where Adesanya knocked out Pereira. So credit to Strickland for kind of backing off before the end of the round there. Comprehensively won the round. Certainly a 10-9, no dispute. And then, back to, what we expected the fight to be in the second.
Can I also credit Strickland doing something else in that first round that limited Adesanya? Was the kick that he caught as well. he caught that very early in the fight to show that, like, Adesanya, like, you may be fresh right now, but I can still grab your leg from these kicks at any point. Like, that's another discouraging thing for Adesanya. It's just like, that's going to put him into a compromised position? Because, you know, Strickland could catch that kick and maybe he could tree top him from there. You know, that's a good way of taking a tool away.
A more general note on that point is that I think what really inhibited Adesanya here and ultimately led to his downfall, his dethroning, was that Strickland didn't let him have anything for 3.
No.
He let him have nothing. He got off absolutely nothing without something being fired back at him.
Yeah.
And I think that made Adesanya very tentative as the fight wore on. And, you know, I don't know if we need to go round by round, because really, after the second round, Strickland just started to pull away. It started to really look like a mismatch, Joe. I just can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, let's talk about the second round, and then we'll combine 3, 4, and 5 together. Round 2, Adesanya won that round. Yes, I think that's fair to say. Yeah. And what he did was he threw right straights to the body. Like, he was throwing some right straights to the body. He was actually pumping the jab out there a bit more, landing it a lot more. He obviously changed the game plan a bit. Now, hold on, Tom, you're pulling some face here, but we have to give Adesanya credit for moderately changing his game plan in that round, winning that round, I think, fairly, and then for some bizarre reason, going back to the game plan of the first round, skirt along the fence. His coach said to him, skirt along the fence, throw the right hand. And from rounds 3, 4, 5 onwards, Adesanya's shots were really loopy. Long, loopy, wild shots. Didn't stick the jab. Didn't give himself a foundation to work from. He was just looking for this big right hand.
You, I gotta jump in. I can't wait anymore. I didn't see it like that. I didn't see it like that. I don't know if I thought that was a fantastic round for Adesanya. I thought the Strickland kind of took it off a little bit.
Hold on. I wouldn't describe it as fantastic. I would say it's a clear Adesanya round. I think he made some good adjustments.
But what we saw, for me, we didn't see Adesanya having success. You know, he still had a very, very poor ratio of landing. His accuracy just wasn't there. At no point in this fight could Israel Adesanya, supposedly one of the best strikers we've ever seen in the UFC, land a head strike on Sean Strickland. At no point. We did not see that in that second round. You're right. He got enough after the body. He did work a couple of kicks and then back out, stuck his points, got the round, but the fundamental issues were not corrected. The issue was that he just couldn't find Strickland, and that awkward style of Strickland's was too much for him.
Yeah,
it was too much, and he got frustrated to a point where when he did trade with Strickland, when he did take those chances, he just started getting lit up, Joe. He got rocked by straight shots down the middle and was not able to get anything back on Sean.
I would say that Strickland had some really, really strong moments in rounds 3, 4, and 5. You know, to confirm rounds for him. Like, he landed some really good flurries in there. I think it was in round 4 where he basically landed the same combo that he dropped Adesanya with in the first, but obviously he didn't knock him down that time. And he just stayed neat and tidy. Didn't do anything crazy. Just pumped out the 1-2. Feinted the rear leg kick. And then round 3, he actually used, when he would throw out the rear leg kick once Adesanya stopped biting on the feint, and actually used it as like a push kick. Like, he used the push kick to get him back up against the fence from there. And it was just really subtle, slow build adjustments from Strickland that I think Adesanya then just was like, right, I know what I need to do. I'm going to work along the fence. I'm going to counter him and go from there. And just Strickland gave him nothing to counter. Nothing to counter. Always in and out at the end of his range. Mostly out. Jabbed him up against the fence. Excellent from Strickland there to control him there. And also, I just felt that Adesanya fell into these weird habits. That
I think he broke him. Joe, I think he absolutely broke Adesanya through this fight.
You think so?
Adesanya was done. He was not coming out there in the 5th round to stop Sean Strickland.
4 and 5, he was just not there.
He was gone, Joe. He was absolutely gone. Now, actually, a quick note on the 3rd round. I've got to say, first viewing, a very close round for me.
Yeah. I agree.
Very close round. I could see the commentary team, they favoured Strickland. He did have the bigger impacts.
I favour Strickland in that.
Adesanya had a bit more activity. I thought it was out there. It wasn't clear to me that it was definitely 3-1 going into the 5th round. Even though I was watching Sean pull away from Israel, there was a part of me that said, hold on, this could still be 2 apiece. This is the deciding round. Let's see what the champ is made of.
And just wasn't there.
He absolutely wasn't there, Joe. Rounds 4 and 5, you got Strickland landing at a 60% clip in round 4 and then 50% in round 5, doubling Adesanya up for strikes. Adesanya continuing with very, very poor striking accuracy. In the whole fight, Joe, Adesanya is credited with just 22 strikes that landed in any way to Sean Strickland's head.
Yeah, what was it? Landed by target 23% to Adesanya, 40% to the body, 36% to the legs. Whereas Strickland's typical headhunter, 62% for Strickland to the head, 32% to the body, 5% to the leg. Hilarious that Strickland, I think he threw 7 leg kicks through the whole fight, and that's how it... Like, when I think of like ways to defeat Adesanya, I always thought if Adesanya exits to his left, throw a kick to his right leg, you know, so as it's like pulling across, like... And he just didn't do it. He didn't need to do it. Like, I was just... Like, everything about it, I was just like, well, you can't... He's not going to beat him with just a 1-2. And then he beats him with a 1-2. Like, it was just relentless. But the other thing is with Strickland is that, like, he didn't even have to cut off the cage. He didn't cut him off at any stage. He just followed him. He just didn't give him any respite. He just like, I'll keep following you.
We made this point in our preview. Yeah. We really did. We emphasised the fact that Sean will be there. The thing that was missing... that was missing from what we had assumed going into the fight was that Israel would be able to land on him.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't do it. He could not get any shots off. Sean was there to be countered. Sean was there to have work done to him. Sean had moments like he did against Pereira. He did have those moments in between strikes, like in a horrible position.
Oh my lord!
Stop and pause the frame. Yeah, crossing his feet as you mentioned in the preview.
Yeah.
But is he like that little roll of Sean's shoulders, a little bit of tuck in the head, and Israel, that was too much for him. He was flummoxed. I mean, unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. Where were you when Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya with a 1-2? Comprehensively, 49-46. Should we even have a rematch?
No rematch. No, wait. The talk of rematch is nonsense. And we'll go into the nonsense of that a bit more. But I just want to stay on the fight just for a moment. Where Adesanya in his corner, you know, he said going into the 5th round, he's like, I can't find my jab. And his coach is just... he's like, you got to keep working on the right. Keep aiming with the right. And I'm just like, you got to give him something else in there. And a part of me thought, when I was watching it, because I had the results spoiled for me. I spoiled it myself, to be honest, but we can go into that afterwards. And there was a part of me who's like, why didn't he wrestle and, even with the failed takedown, be in a clinch exchange? Do you know what I mean? And like throw elbows from clinches from there. It was just, there wasn't any progression of his game plan. And to be honest, even though he progressed his game plan only a little bit, Strickland actually in this fight showed more changes and progressions through his game plan in this fight than Adesanya. I actually can't find myself believing that, considering all Strickland did was 1-2, follow him, feint the rear leg kick, and then throw the thrust kick.
I mean, for me, I understand what you're saying, but really, I wouldn't call it an evolution that I saw in Sean here. I would say that he got so confident that he was ready to bite down on his shots and put something behind them, you know, because he was so confident in his defense because of what Israel was offering back. That created the platform for Sean to actually go and be the man that you've been so frustrated at him for not being, you know, and he put the work on Adesanya. He heard him. He landed.
Hold on. This was still a Sean Strickland performance where I'm watching it and this guy's like, I'm so crazy, I'm so wild, and then he's throwing kind of pitter-patter 1-2s.
You said it yourself. He knocked down Israel Adesanya for the first time in his career. Knocked down that Israel recovered from.
Hey.
And by the end, Israel was beat up, Joe. But how many 1-2s down the pipe with something on them hurt and stumbled Izzy? It was a constant theme. That's what won him at that third round.
I don't know about a constant theme. I'm not.
Rounds 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't like it was. No, I mean it was.
He didn't.
It was winning. It was winning shots.
Cannonier like that.
Who? Strickland.
Sean, when he fought Cannonier, did he?
No. Well, Cannonier outclassed him and won all 5 rounds.
Oh, Joe, look, you've been called out. You've been put right in your place.
No, I have not. No, I have not.
By that young fella on the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull up the?
Yeah, go for it. I don't mind. I mean, you know.
Now I know you've been humbled to hear. There are some profanities, but whoever the individual of diminished capacity is. That gave Cannonier all 5 rounds. Please do not ever talk about MMA again. I shut off the video and will no longer watch a single video from this channel due to the hilarious ignorance and lack of educated opinion. Go take some jiu-jitsu classes and have a boxing match, you profanity scrub.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously got that Cannonier fight wrong.
I didn't get it wrong because Cannonier won.
Because of Sean's lack of end product, right? Because you didn't see Cannonier wearing it. You didn't see Sean taking those risks and really bite down on his shots.
Quantity of shots doesn't equal quality of shots. You know, we went through that fight very briefly on the last pod, and Strickland, over the course of 25 minutes, outstruck Cannonier, was it by 13 shots? Which, over the course of, 5 rounds, isn't a huge hell of a lot. Yeah. Not enough where you could, clearly say that he outstruck him just from the eye. And then if we're talking about the quality of shot, Cannonier had greater output in that regard. And that's what we judge on. We judge on damage, and if someone lands more damaging shots, that's fine. And that's what we saw in this fight, where Adesanya was outstruck numbers-wise and quality-wise by Strickland. Fantastic.
Yeah, and part of that was that Sean, he let his hands go a bit in a way that he
didn't. Yeah, that was the thing, is that Strickland actually threw 3 to 5 shot combos at points, whereas Adesanya's only success in the fight, he threw multiple shot combos, but then Strickland was in there with him throwing multiple shot combos as well, trying to counter him. So it was just odd. We watched that Pereira fight from earlier this year where Adesanya came out and he had an intensity to him where I'm going to finish this guy. I need to end this. I need to end this guy in this fight. And I thought, he's going to come out here and he's got this, he's climbed, well, not climbed, he's overcome a part of a mountain stage of the Tour de France, but he's still got a massive mountain to go, But he's finished Pereira, he's going to come out here, he needs to finish Strickland to, assert his dominance further at middleweight. And it just was never on the cards. He just never threw a 3-4 shot combo with confidence. It was question mark kick flicking out there. Jab, did the sticky jab, where he throws a jab, sticks in your face, and then throws the right hand behind it. He did that in the second round quite well, and then never did it again. Odd performance from Adesanya. Now, Tom, go on, before I move on, you say your last...
No, here we are.
Say your closing statement.
We've got to confront reality now. Israel Adesanya is out of the conversation to be the middleweight GOAT.
One question.
Barring...
Oh! What? That's not even up for debate anymore. Let's move on from that. This is what I want to ask you, Tom. Sean Strickland's performance, give me a rating out of 10.
I mean, he did exactly what I expected him to do. I just didn't expect the success that he would have. I don't know why, I don't know why he upset Izzy so much. Izzy just never felt confident.
No.
That persistency from Strickland, getting no respect of him at any point. These things were predictable,
Yeah.
He was there to be hit and Israel couldn't execute. I mean, for me, Sean Strickland did Sean Strickland. Peak Sean Strickland, I'll accept that.
Oh yeah, for sure, yes.
Peak Sean, but I still don't think he's going to be a long-lived,
No.
champ. I don't know how far he will go, but, credit to him. And it's amazing. It's amazing what happened there. But it's ultimately it falls more on looking at Izzy and where he is now, because that's just It's a shocking loss. It's a shocking loss. One of the biggest upsets. Well, the biggest upset in the title fight of the year. That's no question about that.
Yeah,
You've got to go back into the annals to find ones that match up with this.
I mean, technically, wasn't Grasso a bigger underdog when she beat Shevchenko? But obviously, Shevchenko is not the quality of fighter Adesanya is.
No.
I mean, people are talking about this, comparing this to Matt Serra. Serra is obviously a bigger upset, beating GSP. Yeah. Bisping Rockhold. But then Rockhold wasn't Adesanya.
But none of these people comprehensively, won over 5 rounds on the feet in the champ's own game, fighting the champ's fight.
Yeah, never broke out the wrestling. Never. I mean,
that is the oldest cliche in the book. Wrestle Adesanya.
Yes,
that's the only way to beat him.
Yep.
It's just jaw-dropping. It was just unbelievable. One of those moments that I will not forget. Definitely a challenger for... Australia kind of delivered again, because it's given me my second favourite, or possibly favourite moment of the year. And here we are. What do you do now with Israel Adesanya? Because he wants... Now, and I quote from Eugene Behrman, who Israel put up in the press conference to talk on his behalf. We want the rematch next week.
Next week?
We're very confident there will be the same game plan, but we'll find some small adjustments, and Israel will win this fight.
So
does he deserve that, Joe?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, Strickland comprehensively won. Like, if I'm Strickland...
Israel's got no defences in this run now.
No defences. He's lost 2 title fights out of 3 titles in 10 months.
Yeah.
The Pereira one was a comprehensive one in that he got finished. And I know that some people have a bit of controversy about that finish. To me, I was fine with it, yeah. And then this one where it was just... I still just want to keep talking about it. I'm not bothered about talking about any of the other fights. I just want to keep talking about this. Where... Like, it was... Do you know what I mean? It was like if it's like... Makachev Oliveira in October. If Oliveira just went out there and absolutely mashed Makachev on the ground, completely dominated him on the ground, get like Dagestani handcuff,
power samboed him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Imagine if that happened. You'd be like, wow, there's absolutely no way Makachev deserves a rematch. And if that does happen, Makachev would not deserve a rematch. Why is Izzy any different?
It is that barren wasteland that we've previously referenced. That is the middleweight division.
By the way, can you honestly say to me that Sean Strickland's the best middleweight in the world?
I mean, Israel Adesanya clearly isn't.
No, he's not.
And Robert Whittaker just got knocked out by Dricus du Plessis, Joe. This is a crazy world. Everything's changed. Everything has changed. Now, look, I'm looking down the division now for Israel Adesanya, and I've got to say, I don't see a whole lot of compelling matchups. I'm not sure what you do with him.
Cannonier rematch.
Oh, Lord.
Cannonier rematch, du Plessis versus Strickland main event.
I don't want to see it. I do not want to see Cannonier versus Adesanya. What I think I want to see, Joe, is Robert Whittaker getting in there with Adesanya. Both coming off a loss. I know we don't like that. We like to give a chance to a fighter who's coming in on a win. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not... No.
Well, look, Joe, let me put it to you this way. Whittaker comes, finally bests Adesanya. Adesanya packed off. He's finished. Back to China, fighting in some regional division over there.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, that's what we're talking about. If he lost that third fight to Whittaker...
Yeah.
He's gone. He's finished,
Yeah, I mean, unless he just moved up to light heavyweight and then that's just the start.
Oh, God, and gets gadooshed by Pereira again for a third time.
Yes, I would absolutely watch that. Adesanya Pereira 3. Of course you'd watch that. But
maybe it's for the best, for the middleweight division.
It'd be for the best.
Will Adesanya let it go?
If Adesanya went away for 6 months, didn't fight, didn't have a camp, nothing for 6 months, I think that'd be the best thing. I am also going to make this suggestion. Adesanya is 34 years old. He's had 70 plus kickboxing matchups, 30 odd MMA fights. We're looking at 100 odd fights. A lot of them go to decisions. is there something with maybe aging out a little bit? Maybe that pep and that thing's gone from him?
I'm not having it, Joe. I'm just not having that. I am not having that. He is not diminished. He had a terrible performance, and that's because of what Strickland did to him.
So maybe we need to see the rematch.
Like,
then.
he wasn't... People coming out and saying that Adesanya was slow. He didn't look like himself.
He looked flat.
Was he slow?
He was flat and slow, yeah.
Well, I didn't think he was slow. I think if you can't get any offense off on the other person, that makes you look slow.
But how can you not get offense off against the guy who's right in front of you, in a sense? And really...
Joe, I'm sorry. Do you want me to just pull up Sean Strickland's record? Because I'll give you a whole list of names who can't get any offense off against Sean Strickland.
Yeah, but who aren't as good as Adesanya?
The people who can, Joe, are well, I'm just looking at Pereira. I'm just looking at Pereira. You didn't want to acknowledge it when we looked through Strickland's record. It's not comfortable to acknowledge, but who has put the work on Sean Strickland?
It's Alex Pereira.
It's since he rose to prominence. Of course, he does have that loss to Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. Got caught back in 2018.
Yeah.
It's a world away. As I mentioned, Joe. Jack Marshman, no. Brendan Allen, no. Nordine Taleb, no. Jocko, no. Hall, no. Hermanson, no. Nobody's hurting Sean Strickland. Even though he's right there. It's just Alex Pereira.
Well, Cannonier as well.
He didn't hurt him.
He did hurt him. He did hurt him, lad. He did.
Where's your man? I'll leave it to the 6 jits to put you back in your place.
He did hurt him. Anyway...
who's Sean going to fight, Joe?
He's going to fight Izzy again. He's going to fight Izzy again. In my world, though, it's Drickus.
Yeah, I'm for it.
That would be a mad fight.
Just let Whittaker fight any scrub, and then get him in there too.
Apparently. Yeah. It's a very odd timeline, and really just confirmation.
It's exciting.
Is it, or is it
just
confirmation that 185 is just such a bad division? This is a bad division.
Are you turning your back on Izzy like that? I mean, it's...
I think Izzy's
No, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's one of those, like, everything's possible, Joe. Everything is possible.
The rematch
is a new timeline.
The rematch is announced for December. Who are you picking? I've caught you.
My hands are over my eyes. Oh my God. I mean, really, Joe, it's just everything is different now. I can't bring myself to say it. You're still picking Izzy.
I'm still picking.
I can't bring myself to say Strickland.
If I asked you tomorrow, again, December, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley 2, who are you picking? You're picking Sterling.
You know what? I don't know.
Well, maybe I don't know. Not so much.
Yeah, I don't know, because I really think that Aljamain has a huge mental hurdle to overcome now.
Yeah.
When you get clipped like that, naked, coming in,
yeah,
when you haven't been able to get in at all in the first round like he did,
yeah.
You're saying he comes out all guns blazing and just runs after O'Malley? Mate, you're getting KO'd again if you do that. So,
by the way, I was thinking about that fight after we recorded, talking about that one, and I was just like, man, Aljamain was done dirty. 15 weeks after he fought Cejudo, having to fight O'Malley, who's had a year off. Do you know what I mean? I'm a bit like, man, they pushed him into an awkward spot there, where he's just like, if he said no, he would have been not in any good graces then, would he?
Well, that man cannot get himself some good graces, and he's obviously in the no man's land after that loss. Adesanya, it seems like he'll get an instant rematch. Joe, ask me in December. I'm still processing this. I'm still taking it in.
Let's talk about Alexander Volkov versus Tai Tuivasa. Volkov finish off Tuivasa with the Ezekiel choke. Shout out to Laura Sanko. She caught the Ezekiel choke, and you could hear DC kind of in his silence going like, "What's that?"
Shout out to Laura Sanko as well. How would it feel to have a 6'7" man on top of you? Can you imagine that? Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
And I echo that sentiment because it didn't look like a lot of fun having Alexander Volkov on top of you. It also didn't look fun trying to trade with him, wade in with your big looping hooks on the feet.
Yeah.
Tuivasa was a bloody mess after the first round.
Yeah, and the whole thing when like Tuivasa's throwing the leg kicks and like, oh, Volkov has to start checking them. He's like, he is. What are you talking about? Like, he's literally checked all of them. Like, like, bro. Like, I even like at certain points, I can always hear Sanko dying because you know that she wanted to contradict them, but it was just like, yeah, this is my first time. I'm not gonna say anything. Like, yeah. Yeah, it was Volkov taking one last run at the title, apparently, and I thought this was quite a solid performance here. Nice.
It certainly was.
Nice strike punching. Nice knees to the body, kicks to the body. Tuivasa was really. Do you know what? Tuivasa's got the Tony Ferguson problem now of like he got too far up in the rankings. Do you know what I mean? And now he can't fight unranked guys, so maybe he needs to get cut and then come back again.
Well, he's been there before, Joe. He's been there before. I mean, he's fun. He's fun, right? For heavyweight.
Oh, I love watching him.
A younger Derek Lewis. I mean, like, there's a place for him. It's not at the top of the sport. That we knew. I mean, thank God, Joe, we got this one. We got this one right because we're about to look at some fights that I got totally wrong. So, credit to Volkov. Who do you see next for Volkov?
Is there anyone really? I mean, I don't really know. Is there anyone in the heavyweight rankings he's not fought? Or like, I
mean, that loss to Aspinall, as we mentioned in the preview, it lingers long in the memory.
Oh,
Pavlovich is up there. Garn is up there.
Almeida.
Jesus Christ! You hate Alexander Volkov?
I just want to see it. I just want to.
Yeah. You know, I think Volkov. I'm about to say this now. I'm already into the sentence. I think he could be the champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Actually, yeah, he's one of those.
There is that. Yeah.
He has the ability. He's got the ability.
Yeah.
He's got the physicals.
He just looks. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Like, there's a certain like brittleness to him, which has cropped up in a couple of fights, which surprises me when I see it.
Yes,
because then he looks like absolute hard as nails. Like he did.
He looked like a beast. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like an absolute monster. Poor Tuivasa got murdered in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, he got mashed.
He got absolutely worked. I mean, good lord. So good win for Volkov. Before that, Joe, we got to see Manel Kape, who has earned a place in the headlines. I was saying Manel Kape, Kai Kara-France could have been a co-main. I stand by that because this fight was a lot of fun. Big credit to Felipe Dos Santos as well.
Yeah. After we recorded, I went on Twitter and I looked up Kaposa, Grabaka Hitman on Twitter, who he watches every event. And I looked up this guy. I was just like, I should see if he's posted about him. Oh, he has. And he posted about Dos Santos that day, and he was just like, yeah, that's going to be all action all the time with him. And my word is it. Just kicking constantly, never pausing, just kept going. Even at the end of the third round, still throwing, still pushing the action. Really like Dos Santos. But Manel Kape, oh my lord, that first round put a bit of a beating on him, and he's got some dynamite in those fists, hasn't he? I'm really hyped for Kape, Kara-France. That should be a number one contenders fight. Forget that. Who did he fight? Was it Albazi? Yeah. Fob that off. Not asked about the results of that. Albazi, you can piss off. And get Manel Kape in there and get him the facing with the winner of Pantoja Royval. That's what I want.
I mean, I'm all for it, Joe. Fun is what we want at flyweight. We get enough.
It's a great division.
Yeah,
it's a great division. I love this Dos Santos guy. I want him facing someone good. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we saw that already. I mean, your man was supposed to be fighting on the Contender Series, gets put in, main card slot against a ranked guy, and wow, he looked great. He took everything Kape could give him. A lot of activity. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing him in there again against another ranked guy. He's right there. This flyweight is still open. It's not like you're not trying to get in the rank as a bantamweight.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's different.
Yeah, that's one of those where you gotta Like, you've got to, like, win the Olympics to even get 15th. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to be, like, really good. You've got to win, like, 6 to get to 15. Whereas flyweight, get a couple wins. Yeah, you can slip into number 10. Fancy facing Tim Elliott or Alex Perez. Yeah, go on. Yeah, you can get in there.
Yeah, there you
Matt
go.
Schnell. Yeah.
Schnell, yeah. Schnell's there. I mean, Kape. Just a quick note. I don't see him being a champ. I'll just get that out there now.
I do.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Yeah, I do.
Where's your man again?
What?
Yeah, sick jits. Get him, boy.
Maybe
Right, now look, Joe. We gotta. I've danced around it a little long here. Next fight was Justin Tafa, Austin Lane. I picked Austin Lane to win by decision.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, I picked Tafa by knockout, and we can combine this with the Tyson Pedro one as well, who also won by knockout against Turcal. How did you not fall for this? It's that they're giving 2 Australians here. Here's a stiff board. Knock it down.
Yeah, I see that. I see that now, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
The benefit of hindsight, I've humiliated myself for the 3rd time in 5 fights. So bad day for me. Did love these finishes. Justin Tafa, just no nonsense.
It was dope, wasn't it? Like, it was
everything behind it. Austin Lane just there to be blown away.
Yeah, it was like when he threw the right hook, it was just like, oh, he hasn't properly wobbled him, but he's just like, oh, I can just swing this at him. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's just like, here comes the left.
Slugging, Joe. Absolute cold, thugging, slugging. Oh my God, that big
You're watching
left
it again,
hand.
aren't you?
Of course I'm watching it again. It was great.
I'll bring it up.
Put him away. He put him away, and then proceeds to mount, posture up over him. Austin Lane is in another mortal plane at this point. Well,
yeah.
Sorry, son, you're getting some more. And just absolutely vicious ground and pound. Don't poke me in the eye again, son.
By the way, look at the strike that Lane is throwing as Tafa lands the right hand. Like, look, watch his left hand. What's he doing? It's just like what? It's like he's trying to kill a fly on a table. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like trying to slam the table. That's terrible from Lane.
When the left hand comes in, both hands are out, kind of like a zombie style, and just ready to go around the side, over the top.
Yeah.
Big, huge, slugging left hand. Fantastic, Joe.
Love
some of that.
And then Tyson Pedro, Anton Turcal. Pedro just kept landing the right hand over Turcal's left hand jab. Like, Turcal will throw the hand out there. Yeah. Just left the hand out there. Pedro slips, rips, gets a bit of
crisp, accurate striking. He was finding Turcal at will, and Turcal did absolutely nothing to change that.
No, he did not.
Continued to try to trade with him, and he got clapped, Joe. The finish here, the kind of hammer blow, Thor's hammer just dropping down. That was just an execution.
Yes.
And I know we were split on the celebration. I personally loved it. You matched that up with the samurai mask he's got on the tattoo, the instinctive nature of it, the feeling behind it. Turcal, in a bit of a weird dude, Joe, a bit of weird, uncomfortable comments that the pleasure man. He did deliver me some pleasure here in seeing that finish. It was.
You know what? You've taught me round. The celebration is not bad. It's not bad.
There you go. Have it
indeed. Let's talk about these prelims, man. Let's start with Ulberg versus Da Jung. Da Jung kind of set up there for Ulberg's sort of style on. He's doing it a little bit, and then that 3rd round, Ulberg sort of fell off a cliff, didn't he? He was struggling at points there, and Da Jung.
You mean fatigue-wise? You mean
fatigue-wise? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He was just he gassed. It wasn't even like his output was his output that big in this fight? I don't really remember it being massively high.
No. I think it's something he's had an issue with, in the past.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, I remember his debut. He had a bit of an issue with it as well.
Well, it was Kennedy Ezencheku.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
He was found wanting, but hurt Ezencheku early, and Ezencheku survived, much like Da Jung did here.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's a big feather in Ulberg's cap to win it like he did, because Da Jung did take him down in that 3rd round. A tired man, but he was able to get up, reverse it, and of course ended the fight on top himself. Locked in a choke, first submission of your career. Great job from Carlos Ulberg. The hype train continues.
Absolutely. What's another one you want to talk about on these prelims? What's another one that stood out?
I want to dwell a little bit on Ulberg, Joe, because that was our feature. Well, I mean, where'd you go with him? He's got to go into the rankings now, for me.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say one thing to you here. Alonzo Menafield is ranked at light heavyweight.
No, he's not. Is he really?
I'm telling you the truth. He's ranked 14.
Fuck off. Oh, my lord, he is.
As is... Yeah.
Yeah, Menafield. Oh, they'll both gasp hard in that fight. Oh, my good lord.
I've got Ulberg absolutely destroying Menafield.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, a destruction.
Yeah. I'm looking, by the way, at some of these. Ryan Spann, Khalil Roundtree. Yeah.
Anthony Smith would be an interesting test.
Anthony Smith would be an interesting test. Just because of the grappling sort of side of things. Yeah, man, there are just not that many good fighters at the light heavyweight, are there? Like, literally, you've got Jan, Pareja, Jamal Hill, Prohajka, Ankalaev.
You refuse to acknowledge Ankalaev. What did he do to you?
No, I came in the end there. Slipped him in at the end. Oh. Johnny Walker is interesting-ish now, I guess. That
would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Well, Walker...
Ulberg is fun. Yeah, Ulberg and Walker.
Yeah, could be a fun one.
Get him up there. Get him in the rankings.
Yeah, why not? I feel like with a guy like that, it's just like, see what he's got. If he stumbles, it's fine. You can give him like 8 cans in a row to finish, like quite easily. What did you score Jamie Malarkey versus John Makdessi?
I favoured Makdessi.
Yeah, same. I favoured Makdessi. I was quite shocked actually.
Yeah, it was a robbery.
Yeah, that wasn't on, in my opinion. That from. Malarkey. I wasn't really having that. A load of malarkey, if you will. Yeah, go on.
I wanted to give a little nod to Jack Jenkins.
Oof.
That nod is more like a kind of sad, gentle nod, because that was unfortunate.
Nod,
you know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, son. That's because the man is coming. He's coming up. He's in front of his home crowd. He had a great performance last time. It's exciting. Fight wasn't really going his way in that second round.
No, he was struggling, wasn't he?
He was definitely struggling with the grappling. I'm sure if he is to recover, he will want to work on that because he's not there, clearly. But still, the way that he ended up losing the fight, brutal.
Horrible. Absolutely disgusting. But Mariscal, very impressed with some of his work in there in the grappling exchanges.
He just made it a dirty. He just made it a dirty fight, Joe.
But you still take skill to do that, to be able to do that. Right? Should we wrap this up? There's not really much more for us to talk about.
Yeah, Joe. I think we're out there. It's give the listeners some time to process what has happened.
What's this fight here? Sorry, I'm just looking ahead
of
announcements. No, I'm just looking ahead of the fight nights that have been announced in the next couple. Well, what have we got? The next 4 events are all fight night cards. Let me give you the main events. Then you got Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko 2 for the flyweight title next week, with a co-main event of Jack Della Maddalena versus Kevin Holland, which will be a banger. Raul Rosas Jr. is back on that as well. Main event after that is Rafael Fiziev versus Mateusz Gamrot, a UFC fight night in the Apex. And then, Tom, listen to these 2 main events. You got Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green as a main event on a fight night. And
what a fight to make, Jesus.
I know.
Sounds wrong just listening to it.
I know. And then the next main event after that is Sadiq Youssef versus Edson Barbosa.
Criminal.
Yeah, pretty criminal. Co-main looks good, though. Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. And, Michel Pereira versus Marc-Andre Barrio on that card as well. Christian Rodriguez versus Cameron Simon. This is actually a good card. I'm up for this one. This one's not so bad. Rani Yaya, he's back. I like a bit of that. Anyway, that's months off. What am I banging on about that for? And then, obviously, you've got Oliveira versus Makhachev 2 coming up, listeners. You can contact us at holdonbrother69@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, spread the word, comments underneath if you wish. We will get back to you in the comments or on the pod if it's a particularly good one. I will at least be back on Sunday to talk about Grasso versus Shevchenko 2. And I got a feeling I could bait Tom out of Fight Night Preview retirement to talk Fiziev Gamrot. Come on, man. Mitchell versus Ige underneath?
It's a tempter.
Tim Means versus Andre Filio? Come on, man. Charles Jourdain versus Ricardo Ramos? Okay, we're starting to lose it a bit here. Brian Battle, AJ Fletcher. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God, my boy, Jacob Malkoon versus Cody Brundage. Here we go. Now we're cooking. Right, Tom, I'm the champ, by the way, listeners. If you didn't get that, I got Pedro and Tafa by knockout correct. What else did I get? I got Manel Kape by decision correct, and I got Volkov. So when I was going into that Adesanya fight, I'm like, oh man, this is wrapped up, good to go. Little did I know that the real champion this week is Sean Strickland and the other breakout star, Tom. Let's give her flowers. Laura Sanko. Just great.
On the contrary, tempered the DC vortex that so many get sucked into.
Yeah, Bisping's stuck in there permanently now, isn't he?
He's
what happened, Mike? Come on. Like, he was good, and now he's not. You know.
Put him with Sanko, Joe. She's straightened him out.
They're good on the Contender Series together, actually. Like, when I've watched the Contender Series, yeah.
I think she could be the key. She's like a less salty Dominic Cruz. I don't know. I enjoyed it very much. Yeah, and it did good things for DC. So more of that, please.
DC was actually good.
Little note I wanted to bring in here, Joe. Joaquin Buckley watch.
Wait, is he back?
He's back. Eternal boy on the pod. He's had a fight made.
All right, when is the fight? Don't tell me the opponent yet. When is the fight?
Well, you have caught me on
the back foot.
Off guard. On the back foot. I'm on the back foot, but I want to bring it in because it's coming up soon, Joe. October 7th.
Welterweight?
At that, it will be a welterweight fight, yeah. I think he's done with middleweight now.
Yeah. Who's he got?
You got Alex Morono.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
I like it too. I think it's right. Morono has done big work on the likes of Joaquin Buckley before. Not him personally, but other stand-ins for Joaquin. So, good test to see.
Wow. That is a really good one. Because if you remember Morono Ponzinibbio, when Ponzinibbio was just like, he was not winning that fight at all. Morono was winning it, coming on 7 days' notice, and then he just uncorked this monster right hand. I'm wondering if Joaquin's gonna have the same issue. Yeah. I wonder if Joaquin might have the same issue there. But you know what, Buck?
I'm all for it.
We're all for you. We're backing my boy, the Buck, Joaquin Buckley. Listeners, but this outro has dragged on a bit here. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week to talk about some more fights. God bless. And
thanks everybody.
Yes, thank you, and praise be to our new middleweight champion, Sean Strickland. Goodbye.